Okay, this lesson is on flow rate adjustment. This is where we will be calculating or actually recalculating the flow rate. So for some infusions, you'll realize that the timing's off. It's either running a little fast or it's running a little bit slow. So you're going to need to recalculate the flow rate in either milliliters an hour or GTTs per minute. The main focus is that you need to focus on the milliliter that you have remaining and the time that you have remaining. So that's how many milliliters are left and how much time is left. And you'll use that information to calculate the new flow rate. Okay. So here's a problem. So what was ordered is 1,000 milliliters D5W over 8 hours using tubing calibrated to 15 GTT per milliliter. After 3 hours, you notice 200 milliliters has infused. And the main focus is you need to know how many milliliters you have left and how much time you have left. Usually the time would be in hours. So let's look at our problem. So he was getting 1,000 milliliters, and now we have realized that 200 milliliters has infused. So to find out how many milliliters are left, you'll need to subtract, because he was 1,000 ordered and 200 has already infused into your patient. So that means there's 800 milliliters left. Okay, then the time that you have left. So it was running for 8 hours. Okay, and it's now, well, let's change that color. There we go. So we have 8 hours is what it was ordered for, and it says after 3 hours. So now we're at 3 hours later. So 8 hours minus 3 hours means there's 5 hours left. And they want to know the new GTT per minute. For that, I usually use the formula of, just to write it again, it's milliliter times the drop factor over all the minutes. So for this problem, the milliliter is 800 times the drop factor, and it was given to us as 15 drops per milliliter over our minutes. Now I have 5 hours, so I want to change that to minutes, so I know 1 hour is 60 minutes, so 5 times 60 is 300 minutes. So that goes on the bottom. So I have 800 times 15 equals divided by 300 equals. And I end up with an even 40 GTT per minute. Okay, so I have a couple more. So I need the main focus here. Again, I'm recalculating, so I need the milliliters left, and then we'll change the color for hours left or time left. So let's read it. What was ordered was 2,000 milliliters of normal saline to infuse in 12 hours, and it was going to be infused at 28 drops per minute. Now this I don't need because I'm recalculating the new drops per minute, so that's the old one. They tell me the drop factor is 10 drops per milliliter, and so here we go. So after 8 hours, 850 milliliters remains. So I need to know how many milliliters are left. And the answer is just right here. Okay? Since it says that 850 milliliters remains in the bag, that's how many milliliters are left. You do not have to subtract here. For the next step, you want to know how much time is left. So it was going to run for 12 hours, and now it's 7 hours later. So that's, let's see, 12 hours minus 7 gives me 5 hours. And they do want to know the drops per minute, so I'll use the formula of milliliter times drop factor over minutes again. So the milliliter, 850, times the drop factor, which is the 10 up above, over all my minutes. So I have 5 hours. And I know that 1 hour is 60 minutes, so I'm just going to multiply, and I get 300 minutes again. 100. So 850 times 10 equals divide by 300. And I get 28.3, but drops per minute, or our flow rate rounding rules are all flow rate is rounded to a whole number. Okay, so that is 28 GTT per minute. Okay, so I think this is the last one I have. So it says what's ordered is 375 milliliters of RL over 3 hours. You have 10 GTT per milliliter tubing size, so that's your drop factor. And so after 1 hour, 180 milliliters has infused, and this time it wants the milliliter an hour and GTT a minute. So we'll start with milliliter left, hours left. We'll start there. Milliliters left. So it said he was getting 375 and 180 has infused. So since 180 has infused into the patient, you'll have to subtract the two to find out how many milliliters are left in the bag. So 375 minus 180, and I got 195 milliliters. So now I need the time. So it was going for 3 hours, and it's 1 hour later. So that, of course, is 2 hours. It wants both milliliter an hour and GTT a minute. So for milliliters an hour, if I did that, I had 195 milliliters over 2 hours. So divided by 2, and I get 97.5, but flow rate is going to be a whole number. So 98 milliliters an hour. And I can either use this information or do a new GTT per minute problem. I usually go back to the main information. So for the formula of milliliters, so 195 times my my drop factor of 10 over all my minutes. And since I have 2 hours, 2 times 60 is 120 minutes. 120. So 195 times 10 equals divided by 120. And I get 16.25, which rounded is 16 GTT per minute. So that is this is flow rate adjustment, again where the infusion is off, and it's either going too fast or too slow, and you need to recalculate either the new GTT per minute or milliliter per hour based on how much time is left in the order and how much liquid is left in the IV in the bag. So thank you.